Hi everybody, this video is a supplemental to the last video I did, which you will see coming out of the top of the screen right here in a couple seconds. This is going to serve as clarification. Now, I made a couple comments that were not clear in the other video, and I'm going to explain what I meant here. When you do your alteration, your tapering on the side seam, and if it has a flat felled seam like this, you want this part of the seam, this flap, to be forward. So you want to fold it on this side of it. So when you take these stitches out, it's going to fold up. So in the last video, I made a comment that when you taper your seam, you want to taper it to the second stitching. So it's the stitching on the right, this one here. So if you're taking in this much and you merge up, I am going to open this up and show you where it needs to merge in order for it to turn out correctly. So let me see if I can get this out quickly. I usually have a seam ripper that makes this a lot easier because you have to find that one little stitch. And sometimes it's at this end, sometimes it's at the other end. In any event, oh, there it is. Okay. So if you're looking at it like this, you want this seam right here that's farthest from this fold and further closer to that inner crease right there. So I hope that makes sense. It took me a while to figure it out because sometimes I got it right, sometimes I didn't. And then I finally figured out that this needs to merge with this seam right here, these original holes. Okay. So you're going to take it here and just merge into that. And that's going to happen not at the hem, but at the other end, where if you take the shirt up all the way up through the armpit, it's going to taper into the upper part of the sleeve. Or if it doesn't go quite up to the armpit, then it's going to taper right before you get to it. So most men take it all the way up down to through the hem. Now, I also made a comment about depending on how much you take up your shirt, you may have to recut the hem. And the wording I should have used was, instead of recutting the hem, I should have just explained that you're going to have to true up the hem, because when you're sewing the side seams, sometimes when you're finished, depending on how much you're taking up, because I've done this right here, you see it's going to change right here when you open up the hem, because the front and back is not always cut the same. And when you're dealing with such a tiny little hem, like a 1/4 inch hem, it's really important that your fabric is the same length. If it was like an inch hem, you could probably just tuck that in there. But because it's such a small hem and you want it to look nice and lay right, you're going to have to, if you take up your seam here, you're just going to have to trim this here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep it in the window, but look out of it outside the camera. You're going to have to make sure you trim this up here, and then you just kind of gradually go into the hem back here. So just so you understand that where your seam is, the fabric needs to be the same length. That's all I meant. You don't have to do anything else with the hem, the other part of the hem. Just here, make sure when you trim it, the front and back are going to be the same length, and then you just taper off into its original length over here. That way it goes back into its hem, the original hem, really nicely. So I think that covers it. If you have any other questions, let me know. And I think that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified when I upload more videos. Thank you. Bye.